Hello, everybody, and welcome to another podcast interview here on Purple Chorus. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by the brilliant Joyce Moy, who is associated with Epilepsy Malaysia. We've known each other for around about 7 years now, but this is actually the very first time we've had the opportunity to speak. Now, Joyce's daughter, the late Janet Lee, was an incredible colorist and extremely successful artist who lived with epilepsy, and her story is nothing short of amazing. So a very good, well, morning for me, evening for you, Joyce Moy. Very nice to see you.
Morning to you, Guy.
Thank you. It's Guy, but that's absolutely fine. Uh,
Oh, okay. My apologies,
yeah,
Guy.
it's all right. People here in France call me Guy as well, so there we go. So I don't know the proliferation of epilepsy in Malaysia, how high or low a percentage it is. Is it a common condition in Malaysia?
Well, the problem is in Malaysia, there's no statistics as to how many people have epilepsy.
Okay.
And the reason for this is there's no national data, obviously, but the other problem for national data is people have to declare. And we find many people here still live with a stigma. They consider epilepsy as a stigma.
Yes.
If it's not controlled, then yes, because of the medication, they declare.
Hmm.
But if it is controlled, then they would rather have people call them an ADHD than an epileptic. That's a sad thing.
Wow. Wow. So,
Mhm.
I mean, my guest, my previous guest, Dr. Ian Bone, um, was saying how prevalent the stigma around epilepsy still is, and it really is still very much a big issue. Um, so, the focus on today's work is no doubt going to be around Janet's work. So please tell everybody who Janet was and how her work developed and how you, as not only a mom but also as a person who's very experienced in business uh, and entrepreneurship, um, carried that work forward and made sure that Janet's message got out there. Um, so
Yeah, thank you.
please introduce the world to Janet.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Guy. So, Janet was born very healthy. Okay, she was a healthy, bubbly kid, never got sick. At 8 months, she contracted chickenpox, but she recovered. And somehow, 2 weeks after her chickenpox, that's when she had a first seizure.
Right.
So when she had that seizure and we rushed her to the clinic, the doctor there diagnosed that she had a viral infection
Hmm.
and she was probably carrying a fever, which we were not aware of.
Hmm.
Although until today, I can still insist that there was no fever.
No.
So anyway, after that, we had another good 8 months
Hmm.
because the only thing we were told was that we had to be careful whenever she has a fever,
Hmm.
but otherwise they doubt there should be any major problem.
Hmm.
One fine day when she was 1.5 years old, around that time, I got a call from my mom-in-law while I was at work that she fell. Okay, because when she had her first seizure, my mom-in-law was in China, so she never knew about that. We also didn't tell her. We
Okay.
didn't want her to get scared because she was actually babysitting Janet when Janet was young. And I was then also having my uh, traveling job.
Right.
So we just wanted to keep it status quo. And since doctor said there's nothing wrong, so we just let it be.
Mm-hmm.
So when she gave a call, we obviously knew what could be the problem. I rushed home, and true enough, she had an attack.
Mm-hmm.
That was when we had to really tell her that she did have this before, but it's no major concern.
Mm-hmm.
But sadly, though, the words didn't speak for itself because starting from that period, she started having seizures very frequently.
Mm.
The seizures were as bad as one attack every 2 or 3 days.
Right. Okay.
When we went to the pediatrician, they tried to start her from not giving her medication, they started giving her medication,
Mm-hmm.
but no medication seemed to work.
Yes.
They did all the necessary brain tests, they did EEG, or they were even worried that she might have meningitis,
Mm-hmm.
but everything came clear.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed quite normal.
Yes.
But nonetheless, after they did a couple of tries,
Mm-hmm.
the and within that same period when we were just rushing in and out of hospital because we were so scared,
Mm-hmm.
every time she had an attack, we would just check her in and we refused to leave until the doctor says she can leave.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, the pediatrician told us that she think Janet is no longer one of those kids who have febrile fits, but she's probably really an epileptic.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to solve the problem is to find the right medication to hopefully control her seizures.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the beginning of Janet's life.
And how old was she
So
then
if we,
when she was diagnosed? How old was
uh,
she when she was diagnosed eventually?
uh, sorry,
How old was she when you got the diagnosis?
1.5 years old,
Right. Well,
that was during that same period. That means within that same year, a couple of months apart, then they officially, diagnosed her as being epileptic.
right.
Of course, at that point in time, uh, there were a lot of promises or hopes given to us
Yeah.
that this is nothing to be worried about because some kids do have it, but they will tend to outgrow it
Mm-hmm.
as they grow older. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was a benchmark of 6 years old.
Right.
But then when things didn't change when she was 6 years old, we were given another benchmark that perhaps when she reached puberty
Mm-hmm.
at 12,
Mm-hmm.
it might change.
Mm-hmm.
We waited. Nothing really seems to work.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time she was 18 and still having the seizure, we were finally told by the doctor that we should probably just accept that this is Janet. Actually, it was 16, yeah. It
Mm-hmm.
was 16. So the doctor said, you probably have to just accept it that epilepsy is part of her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in the minority population where we can't find the right medication to control her seizures.
Mm-hmm.
And within that category, she's again in a very small segment who don't carry an aura.
Right.
So she doesn't know when she's going to have an attack. She can't tell you that a signal is coming, and neither can you figure out that one is coming around the corner.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
were all Janet's seizures the same? Were they all convulsive seizures, or did they vary? Or uh,
They were all convulsive seizures.
right.
We did we repeated along the period, I think 2 to 3 more EEGs,
Mm-hmm.
but the EEGs turned out to show that they couldn't really do much. It was definitely not caused by a tumor or a
Right.
growth,
Mm-hmm.
but it was very generalized.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no specific point that they could address.
Right.
But there again, when she had learning difficulties, I managed to have an appointment in Australia
Yeah.
because Malaysia was still lacking in terms of an understanding of why she was not learning. I
Hmm.
went to Singapore. They just thought it was a behavioral problem. So
Okay.
I decided to give a shot in Australia when I had an outreach to the Royal Children's Hospital.
Okay.
And when I was there, I took the EEG reports over. The neurologist had a look at it, and he just told me that from the report, Janet's seizures were really not as severe as to impair learning.
Okay.
So he told me, he said, probably with or without epilepsy, Janet might have had a learning issue as well.
Okay.
So that was when we had like an answer to our second question. First question was, will her epilepsy go off? And the second question was, what's causing her learning difficulty? Because she's a kid who loves to learn.
Hmm.
And why isn't she learning?
Hmm. Yeah. And I read in one of the articles that for a period of time she was in school, um, and then you took the decision that it was in her best interests not to be in school. Um, how old was she when you made that decision that school wasn't the right place for her?
Oh, actually, for Janet, schooling was difficult.
Hmm.
Because of her seizures, we couldn't find a school for her for preschool.
Right.
People would just pretend to take your registration number, and we had to be honest that she had epilepsy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people, we can't just put risk to people.
No.
So the minute they heard it, they take the number, but you never get a call back.
Mm.
And ultimately, we had to settle for a kinder, which was just opposite my house. So
Right.
it was safe enough for the school to take because it was really just across the road.
Yeah.
Okay. No
Mm.
traffic jam, nothing.
No.
And when she started her year one, the second disappointment came. My elder girl, which is Janet's sister, 7 years apart.
Okay.
So when Janet was 7, ready to go to school, the sister was already in secondary,
Hmm.
okay, 14 years old.
Yeah.
So we tried to register Janet in the same school so that we have a peace of mind.
Yeah.
And the school rejected her.
Okay.
The school said they were not going to take the risk, but we said, well, the sister lived with her. And if there's anything, you can call the sister and she would know what to do. But
Yeah.
they still wouldn't accept her.
Mm.
So we were ultimately fortunate enough to find another private school. We chose private school because the classroom size was smaller.
Okay.
And we got her in there. But she wasn't learning. And year on year, we took her to an educational psychologist. They couldn't really find out what was wrong, so they just threw it back to epilepsy and said that the drugs will sometimes cause learning delays
Hmm.
in children.
Yeah.
And so she was classified as a slow learner.
Okay.
And this went on for 3 years, no changes. So by the time she was in year three and completed year three, bad habits started coming in,
Okay.
like sleeping in class, spending money in the canteen just to spend her friends. It
Hmm.
wasn't like something really major, but as you think about a 9-year-old going into her early teens,
Yeah.
and as a young girl, Janet was really very lovely and adorable.
Hmm.
You start getting concerns about whether, she would run herself into trouble or
Hmm.
would people try to take advantage of her.
Hmm.
So when we went back to the educational psychologist to seek her advice, she only gave us two solutions. One is let her stay there. Don't worry about her not learning, but just let her have a life.
Hmm.
Second alternative, if we are very concerned, is register her as a disabled
Right.
and get her into a school that caters for children with special needs.
Right.
So for our own safety, we had to put her into the school which catered for special needs. And
Okay.
I think in her whole life, that was probably the best 3 school years she had.
Right.
She was more superior than the kids down there.
Mm-hmm.
She got along well with the teachers liked her, and she enjoyed school. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Still not learning,
Mm.
but verbally she picked up Malay, which is our national language, and she
Right.
could speak it rather fluently.
Okay.
So she had no problems communicating verbally in English, in Malay, and even in Mandarin.
Right.
Come to her secondary, that's when we had a problem again. Because she wasn't learning at all, they had to make her continue special needs education.
Mm-hmm.
So she went in for year one, and we realized that she started coming back with bruises.
Mm.
So we asked her, and she said someone pinched her.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time she was year two, the bruises became more severe.
Mm.
And so we thought there must be something really wrong. So we went to the school and we started speaking to the principal and asked to see, like, who is it or how did she get her bruise?
Mm-hmm.
And the principal pointed me to a girl
Mm-hmm.
who herself had bruises all over her body.
Right.
And then the principal said, "This is the girl, but look at her. You know, when she beats the boys, they beat her back, and these are the bruises from there." So I just said, "Well, if this is the case, why don't you just remove the girl,
Mm-hmm.
from the school?" And he gave me one answer, which I may not like at that time, but as I see things grow now,
Mm-hmm.
I know it was only fair for the teacher, because the principal just told me, "Look, she's a special needs,
Mm-hmm.
and she was put into this school because of her special needs. If as a school we do not accept her, then where is she going to go? She's only 14."
Mm-hmm.
And this was when I realized that much as I was unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
I had to make a choice,
Yes.
either to see my girl suffer
Mm-hmm.
or to pull her out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the time when I had to pull her out of school and try to continue her education with tuition classes,
Mm-hmm.
remedial classes,
Yeah.
an hour each, even though it didn't help, but it was still giving her the feeling that, she was learning something or going to learn something.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And when did her interest in art uh kind of develop? Was was that during school? Was that later, or was that from a very early stage?
To be honest, Janet really had, in a way, a sad life. So when she was struggling, from the time she could hold her pencil, she loved coloring.
Right.
And so by the time she was 9 years old,
Hmm.
and we realized that since the teacher said that, she's probably going to be slow, but we were also worried how slow is slow, and we moved her to special needs.
Hmm.
I drew back to the fact that, well, education is one stream that we all like our kids to go for. But
Yeah.
if they can't, then let's just find them something that they can do.
Yes.
And since she liked colors,
Yes.
going for art classes is the no-brainer.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I started sending her for art classes. But then every time she goes for an art class, and after 3 to 6 months, I look at her work, there was really no improvement. I mean, she didn't really bring me back art. Okay, we have to correct it a little bit, is that my husband, Janet's sister, and myself, we don't know how to appreciate art.
Okay.
Okay. And to us, art is something that is visual and you can
Yeah.
comprehend and interpret.
Hmm.
So when she brings in something that we can't comprehend,
Hmm.
and we compare it with the other kids in her class who
Mm.
are producing a different kind of work,
Yes.
we start getting doubts and we ask the teacher.
Hmm.
And we kept doing this by changing art teachers, thinking it was a problem with the art teacher.
Hmm.
And you have the same answer from 4 to 5 art teachers during that journey, where they just came back and said, "You know what? Janet is not talented in art. Okay, and it's difficult for her to follow the classes
Mm-hmm.
because she doesn't follow the rules, she doesn't follow the instructions, she just does whatever she like, but she has no perspective.
Right.
Okay, so even for still art is a problem. You ask her to draw an apple, and it turns out it doesn't look like an apple at all.
Mm.
So by that time, I was saying, if one, two persons say it, they might be wrong. But if it's four to five people saying it, then it has to be right.
Mm-hmm.
So we stopped her from going to classes. But during that time, we also tried her with dancing. We tried her with vocal.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't try her with sports for fear that she will fall.
Mm-hmm.
So the only safe things that she could go around was dancing, singing, and music and
Yeah.
art.
Mm-hmm.
And everything didn't work.
Mm.
And she just liked to color. So we had her interest, but we had no solution.
Mm.
But we had to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
So we just tried to focus on academics until she was 16 when we were told, from you can say from the time 1.5 years all the way until 16 years old, I only had one focus, and that focus was how to manage her epilepsy.
Right.
And
Okay.
to me, if I can manage her epilepsy, I'm sure there will be a school that's right for her.
Mm-hmm.
So at 16, when I was told that her epilepsy cannot be managed, I started looking at then we have to look at education.
Yeah.
How we're going to make something out of her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when uh, we happened to be in Australia because Janet's sister graduated.
Okay.
I picked up a search that I found many years ago about a learning specialist who
Mm-hmm.
just worked with children who seem to not learn, but they are not
Okay.
special needs. And I
Mm-hmm.
went to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have to say that how Janet is today is really a gratitude towards her because she was the one who diagnosed that Janet had vision issues, which
Mm-hmm.
was holding her back from learning.
Mm-hmm.
But she did advise us as well to see a psychologist
Mm-hmm.
just to double confirm that Janet had no other issues.
Mm-hmm.
The psychologist was the one who gave me the diagnosis that Janet was intellectually disabled.
Okay.
I discussed with her about the possibility of Janet learning something if her vision was addressed, but vision therapy is not something that is well recognized. I think that's another phenomenon. Even today, there are two sides of the story, okay? And among everything to do with sight, vision therapy ranks the lowest, okay?
Yeah.
People still have doubt that it worked. But I had a choice. I had a choice to just not do anything
Mm-hmm.
or just give it a try.
Right.
So when I started to address Janet's vision, the
Mm-hmm.
miracle happened. She started reading and writing,
Wow.
and her perspective in drawing wasn't good, but it improved.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But since I was only focused on academics, I was quite happy and in trying to get her, to go on and study. But
Mm-hmm.
that's also when my nightmare came out. And for me to also realize that I'm really dealing with someone who has an ambition.
Mm-hmm.
Because what she did when she could read and write is her next question was, when can I graduate like the rest of my cousins and sister?
Right.
And it was like, oh, you're just doing the kinder books now. And I calculated she was 16. So I was counting myself and said, well, if she had to finish everything and be ready to go uni,
Mm-hmm.
she would be in her 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be in my 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way I can go to uni with her. And I think at 30, to
Mm-hmm.
start, going into uni at back then, okay, because when Janet passed away, she was 33, going 34. So
Mm-hmm.
if you count the years back to those times,
Yeah.
then you would just say like people don't go to uni at 30, And with her uncontrolled seizure, it was a high risk for her to go to uni.
Mm.
So But she wanted it so much. And because she wanted it so much and she was so persistent, it pushed me to try and find a resource that could offer her that dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
So I found an established organization online that gave a course, which was a 1 year course,
Mm-hmm.
but Janet spent about 2.5 years doing it.
Mm-hmm.
She asked for an extension,
Mm-hmm.
and it was objective based, so it was something that was easier for her to manage as long as she understood the concept, even though she couldn't read it fully because I could read and she can answer.
Mm-hmm.
And she completed, and so she was ready for graduation. So when she was ready for graduation, we told her, okay, now you can receive your diploma, and there are two ways the college could do it for you. So it was a diploma in small business management.
Wow.
They allowed us to actually have everything here, including the rope, so that she could do her photography and everything.
Brilliant.
Or we could also receive it in person in
Yeah.
the US.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I explained to her that if you go to US, it would be just a family thing because nobody's going to go to US with you. But
Mm-hmm.
if you did it in Malaysia, then obviously your uncles, your aunties, your cousins,
Yeah.
everybody will be doing that big rah-rah
Yeah.
photography. And then we said, what do you want? And she said, I want to go to US. So we took her to US for her graduation. She experienced that moment of her name being called, go up the
Brilliant.
stage to collect her diploma. So these were actually the real two things that made me really convinced that Janet had a dream and she wanted to just be like any one of us, being able to achieve our milestones.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that was between 16 and the time she had a diploma, she was entering her 20.
Right.
And at that time, I still had no solution about what to do for her.
Mm.
Okay. So I tried baking together with her
Mm-hmm.
and thought that could be a home business, which would be very safe
Yeah.
because someone could help her with the oven.
Yeah.
And all she needed was just to do the ingredients and the
Yeah.
kneading,
Mm-hmm.
and that should be fine.
Yeah.
Then one fine day, I realized something is when she was about to get a seizure, we still don't know what day or when, but when she's about to get an attack coming, her vision affects her.
Okay.
So she would either read the ingredients wrongly, so
Mm-hmm.
flour becomes butter, and
Okay.
you can imagine
Yes.
the
Yes.
amount you have to put in will all go crazy.
Yeah.
Or she would have a dyslexic problem coming in where 85 becomes 58.
Right. Okay.
And so I then said, okay, now baking has to be out because what I wanted to find her was a career that she could really do on her own,
Right.
even if it is with assistance, but
Yes.
where she can feel that the achievement is still very much her.
Yeah.
And when people buy whatever that she makes,
Mm-hmm.
they must be buying it because it's just as good as what they can get at a shop.
Yeah.
And not just that because she's Janet.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
main reason behind this is if it's because it's Janet, it's an empathy and sympathy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this cannot be a lifelong earning.
No. No, I totally understand that. 100%.
Yeah. So I had to drop that and then I had to sit back and say, okay, so failure, so what do I do? And I realized she was still trying to work on colors.
Right.
So in 2010, I started talking to people and said, look, I have a serious problem here. I have a girl who loves colors, but people say she's not into art. I can't find anything else to do, and she's not interested in doing anything else other than coloring. So
Mm-hmm.
what am I going to do? And that was actually when her journey in art started because making enough noise, a friend introduced me to an art teacher.
Right.
And this time, everything that the teachers in the past told me Janet can't do, I put it up front on the table and told her,
Yeah.
said, there's no need to try all this. Janet cannot do all this.
Hmm.
And you have just one mission. Your mission is just to help me, let Janet do whatever she wants, but
Hmm.
it's good enough to even be worth 50 cents.
Hmm.
Okay. So that she can see that her hard work pays her off.
Hmm.
I do not want art papers to come back and it becomes a trash
Yes.
because people can't do anything with the artwork. So people don't appreciate it. And
Hmm.
I can't throw it because I know she has pride in her work,
Yeah.
but I can't keep it as well.
Yeah.
It just grows up and
Yeah.
into a pile. And then people are just going to say, what are you going to do with all this?
Hmm.
So she had been very nice and she lived by the words that I told her, and she tried to do the best out of Janet.
Hmm.
So Janet entered into art and was with teacher for the next 6 years.
Right.
And in fact, her first piece of artwork, in fact, all the 3 years that she was in US, the artwork that she produced was under the guidance or supervision of this art teacher. That's when I think
And what
we
was that?
started knowing each other.
And what was that art teacher's name?
Irene,
Right.
that was Irene, and we participated in Hidden Truths.
Yes, which
So
is
that was
how
the
you
first
met.
time that I realized, yeah, which is roughly, I think a few years after that is when I, started getting to know you.
Yeah.
By the time I knew you, I didn't fly to US anymore. But the
Right.
first 3 years, so Hidden Truths started their first exhibition in 2013. I joined in 2014, and until today we are participating.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so that was now another career path to her art because I was quite complacent and said, that's it, I found the solution.
Hmm.
And she's got the right person to help her. We've got the right platform, and everybody's admiring her art, not just in the US, but in Malaysia.
Hmm.
Yippee, done.
Yeah.
And then I began to realize something wasn't right because she produced the artwork well, but when she was at home, she would still be on her colors.
Hmm.
And when I looked at her work, it's actually just two very distinct, different pieces of work.
Hmm. I
If
mean,
I
I
stand up
was,
right now, you can see a
wow.
beautiful paint. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a painting she did with the art teacher.
Right.
Even though the colors are amazing, they are very structured.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when she's at home,
Hmm.
she would paint like the two paintings you see behind you.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah. Very, very contrasting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I looked at it and I said, hey, I've got a problem because at home she can never produce me the same piece of work. Even though the teacher didn't touch it, she just can't produce. So I think it equated to me a thing like when we go to school
Hmm.
and teacher said you need to pass your exam before you can go to the next class, we just do it.
Hmm.
And once we are there, we say we're done and we drop everything. And
Hmm.
then we move on to the next
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah,
So it
absolutely.
appeared to me,
Yeah, I mean, some people will. I've heard many people say within the music world that in order to be a composer, you learn the rules of composition and then ignore them completely to to suit your own goal. And to a certain extent, that is true for many people. That's what they do. They learn X, Y, Z, and then think, nah, that's not what I'm interested in. I prefer LMN or whatever, and
yeah.
that way.
So, but for Janet, it was a major problem because we would actually trying to do art as her profession.
Hmm.
And when she produced the two distinctly obvious, that's if you look at this and you just look at what I showed you, it's like
Yeah,
it's totally two different person.
it
Okay.
could be,
And
yeah,
you will say, yeah.
yeah.
And she would say, how can you explain to a person that this is the same artist? And then I said, it's fine when I'm around because I think from the way I relate this,
Hmm.
people will believe me.
Hmm.
But if I'm not there, then people will never believe the person who's articulating it, thinking that, something has happened in between and we're just telling another story.
Hmm.
So that was when my search came. I was actually quite depressed at that time.
Hmm.
It was 2017, and I was quite depressed. So
Hmm.
I went around talking to my friends, and this time it was no longer about art, but it was a question about, am I on the right journey?
Hmm.
Is Janet truly an artist? Because I'm beginning to have my doubts.
Yeah.
I've spent 6 years, and if I'm on the wrong journey, hopefully I still have enough time to build the right track for her.
Hmm.
This is when I was through a friend introduced to an artist.
Hmm.
And when I had a word with the artist about my main concern,
Hmm.
he just told me one statement. He said, I'm an artist. So I don't teach art. People who come to me for art classes are because they are already self-inspired.
Yeah.
And all I do is just to give them new ideas, new techniques,
Hmm.
and they run with it.
Yeah.
So he said, if I were to work with Janet, I
Hmm.
think it would be just a short while
Hmm.
when I will know whether she's an artist or not. Because if she produces something that even I can't appreciate it,
Yeah.
then I don't think she's really an artist. Okay. Because we artists see things very differently.
Yes. Very true. Yeah. Yeah.
So that gave me hope.
Hmm.
He spent a short while with her and then he came back and he said, I tell you what, she can follow me because she's definitely an artist, but I have no idea what her strength is. So he
Hmm.
said, I need some time to figure this out, but she can follow me.
Hmm.
It took him 2 years. It took him 2 years to finally in 2019 come up to me and he said, I've got it. I know what she is now.
Hmm.
She's not an abstract artist at all. All that she is a colorist.
Okay.
She just loves colors
Hmm.
and she can paint anything with any colors that you give her. As long as you lay the colors on the table for her, she'll come up with something.
Right.
And
And did she
but
have
he also
any?
cautioned me that if I accepted his feedback, then Janet will be in a very different world
Mhm.
and her followers will change as well because it will only attract people who love colors.
Yes. Did she have any favorite colors? Are there any are there any colors that are more prominent in her work than others, or was it a very broad spectrum?
No, she has a liking for either bright colors, very bright colors,
Hmm.
or darker color tones, like the one that you see here, which is
Yeah,
in darker color tone.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's pastel, so it's always a lighter color. So this is prominent because even in my shirt, you will find that her colors are very bright.
yeah.
They are very sweet.
Hmm.
So that's the color she used. But
Hmm.
I also realized that she can accept gray, but she will never use black.
Right.
So the black that you see at the back of this painting is actually dark purple. It's not black.
Oh, right,
And that's the one color that you can leave on the table and she can totally forgo using it.
right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's the only color she won't use. If you give her 12 colors, she will use all the 12 colors. You
Yeah,
give her three, she will do something with three.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Absolutely amazing. And so you're wearing you're wearing a shirt of Janet's artwork. When did you take that decision that that would be a really good outlet to to allow actually people to wear Janet's art?
Okay. So, what happened in 2017? Because in 2014, Hidden Truths opened the world to us that Janet could be accepted as an artist. And personally, with the achievement that Janet had in 2017 when she graduated, I felt that it was a real achievement, that something we could share
Mm.
and inspire others.
Yes.
That even if you have supposedly real difficult challenges, if
Mm.
you have the determination
Mm.
like Janet
Mm.
and you work towards it, everything is possible. The impossible is possible. So then I was telling myself that, however, if I stayed in the art world, then the only people who will get to hear Janet's story will be people who love art.
Mm.
And I realized that while many people love art, not many would actually have a space for a piece of artwork in their house or in their space of work.
Yeah.
And so I then looked at one of the paintings she had, and this crazy idea came to me to say, hey, maybe this painting could look nice on fabric.
Yeah.
And if it's on fabric, what could I do with fabric? Oh, clothing. And
Hmm.
so this is when I started this art beyond the canvas.
Right.
And art beyond the canvas now is just not just wearable art, it's also home and lifestyle.
All right.
So we've got her art, yeah, we've got her art on bags, we've got her art on coasters.
Hmm.
So anyone who loves art can now have it on the wall, at home as a decor or as something they use,
Hmm.
or they can even wear it.
Hmm. That's brilliant. Uh, that's
Yeah.
excellent.
And with this, if you were to present, for example, a scarf to someone,
Yes.
it can go with a Janet story. And so Janet's story would reach out to more people.
Yes.
And hopefully, by reaching out and telling her story,
Yeah.
people will live with hope, especially those who are struggling.
Hmm.
They can live with hope to say, if she can do it, then it doesn't mean I can't. It's just a matter of getting things right,
Well,
and I have to give it a try.
I'm going to put something to you. I wear bow ties and waistcoats every day at work. So, if there was some way of wearing Janet's work in the form of a bow tie or waistcoat, I would
Okay,
do that.
thank you.
Love to do that.
I'll look into that.
Excellent. After we finish this interview, I'll give you my size and my
Yep,
dimensions.
and I'll explore.
Yeah, and we'll see if that would be possible. But that would be really absolutely amazing. So, so let's carry on the story from there. People have started wearing Janet's artwork. Is that around the world? Are there people all over the world wearing Janet's artwork?
Um, kind of. Well, Dr. Julie,
Hmm.
in when we didn't go to US, that was also in 2017, we didn't go to US.
Hmm.
And starting from there, we never went to Hidden Truths Project anymore. But we started shipping
Hmm.
lifestyle products to Dr. Julie, and she would put it on display. So it went from plates to umbrellas,
Right.
to tabletops. Yeah,
Hmm.
so we had that in the US. I have people in the Hong Kong who would purchase scarves. So
Hmm.
it's in, to my knowledge, it appears in the Philippines, in US, in Singapore, in Malaysia, and
Hmm.
hopefully, well, because I don't actually spend marketing and advertising, so we don't go that far. But hopefully, as more people hear Janet's story, we could explore possibilities here.
Yeah, it could be that somebody watches this video today and says, I'll have that. So yeah,
Yeah. And what we have done, there's even something that is even more incredible is I thought about art beyond the canvas. So anything like you say, a bow tie, my issue will be just, can I find a manufacturer for bow tie who can put the painting on it? That's all I need to do. It's either a yes or no answer.
yeah.
But in 2022,
Hmm.
I had someone approach me and his request was very different. He said, I would like to use Janet's art on my cover of the prospectus that my company is going for listing. And that was the first time we had art, a piece of artwork as the front cover of a prospectus of a company that was going for public listing.
Right.
And the subsequent year, the Royal Children RAPCH, Pediatrician Child Hospital, which is in UK.
Right.
They approached me in 2023 and
Hmm.
they approached me again this year
Hmm.
to choose two of her paintings as their audit report front cover.
Wow. Amazing.
And I
Brilliant.
have had three companies that have come to me to use Janet's artwork in their product packaging.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, so I believe that the answer is where can you use Janet's art? It would be anything that you need a design.
Uh-huh.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah. Hmm. That's brilliant. And so your work now is to carry on Janet's work and make sure that her business carries on and in her name. One of the things I found recently is a project of yours called Shaping Hearts. Um, could you tell us a bit more about Shaping Hearts and also the entrepreneur mentorship program as well?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Okay, so we'll start with the Artpreneur Mentorship Program first, because that's really what we are doing now, besides the daily business for Janet. So in 2020, when we were still about coming out from the pandemic, I decided, and that decision was also made because we had quite some good visibility. The
Mhm.
media came to us and wanted to write about Janet, but I also came to realize that we don't have a proper space to display Janet's work.
Okay.
So this gallery that I'm in doing the interview with you now was established in November 2020.
Okay.
And when we started the gallery, it was also to fulfill another wish that Janet had. Along the space of, finding her what to do, doing cookies and all that, and wanting her to have some form of earning, I
Mhm.
had a friend who offered me a corner,
Okay.
okay, and
Yeah.
say, you can put your art beyond the canvas or whatever you want. And I'm a florist. If someone wants a gift, I can just package it and then I can send it out for you.
Okay.
So we were doing that. And that to me was, hey, pretty good idea.
Hmm.
Janet is not someone who can manage a store by herself
Right.
for long hours or on a daily basis. I also don't have the bandwidth. But if we could find outlets that were willing to place her stuff there, and then we just go and rotate the items, that's good. So I came back quite happy and I told Janet, you know what, now that we have got one, we can actually start looking for other outlets to place your items there and let them sell for you. Janet's answer was no.
Okay.
And that shocked me.
Mm.
So then I said, if you know, so does it mean you don't want your things around? And she said, no, I want my things around. And then when I tried to prompt and I said, so you want your things around, but you don't want it everywhere. So are you saying you want a space where you can put your things and let people see and decide whether they want to buy or not? And she said, yes. So when Janet Lee Gallery is opened, this is where you can see everything that is Janet.
Right.
from her artworks to her art beyond the canvas. So that was initially to fulfill that part of the dream. The
Mhm.
second objective for Janet was also to get her to understand that for her to have art beyond the canvas, she needed to have art or
Mhm.
artworks.
Mhm.
And if she don't carry on producing new artworks, it's not only a matter of no new designs, but it also means that her walls are empty.
Yeah.
But when the gallery officially opened, it struck my mind that the pandemic had brought a lot of difficulties to many people.
Mhm.
And so the people who come here can be inspired by Janet's story.
Mhm.
Special needs families can come here and be inspired that there is hope for their own children. So it became a multi-purpose location for everyone.
And
And
where exactly is it? Where exactly is
it's
it?
in it's in Kuala Lumpur, and it's in a location called Cheras.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so then when we had this thing in shape, it was also the time when I thought that now perhaps is the time that I should get the sister involved,
Mhm.
because before that I was just running it on my own, but I was anticipating the gallery should stay. And so the sister is in advertising, marketing, and communications. So she came in, and together we drafted a roadmap.
Right.
In in 2023, when Janet passed away, her sister came to me and said, we should carry on the roadmap, because one of the items that was targeted for 2023 November during the anniversary was actually for us to use Janet as the figurine to
Mhm.
show people that things are possible if you get the right support. And we wanted to actually extend this knowledge and experience that I had to other families
Mhm.
so that they could help their child. And when she passed on, my daughter came back and said, we should carry on. I was skeptical
Mhm.
because I said, the actual person is no longer here. But
Mhm.
she told me it's fine. Her works are still around. You're still carrying on her business.
Mhm.
And the journey was yours. So
Mhm.
you could carry on. And that's where we launched our Artpreneur Mentorship Program. It's a pro bono program. We don't charge our mentees
Okay.
for the support I give them, and I do not charge commission on their earnings as well if it's an event that is led by us.
Mhm.
But it's by invitation, meaning I do interview the family and make sure that at least one of the parent is committed to
Mhm.
take the journey with their child, because all I'm doing is sharing my entrepreneurship journey with the parent so that they know what to do and they can be on their own when the 6 months program is over. So today I have already got 4 groups who have completed,
Mhm.
and we're starting like the fifth group. I have now 12 artists, families who have undergone the program.
Wow.
Then along that, as I was talking about Janet and as I was talking about the Artpreneur, I was approached by an organization in Singapore who asked me if I could help them for an exhibition that they were going to run. It's the largest exhibition in Singapore for the PWD, people with disability.
Okay.
But they had a few criteria. So they said last year they ran it for just Singaporeans, and this year they want to run an international platform.
Mm.
And would we have anybody who could go in? So there were a list of criteria that they wanted.
Mhm.
And I'm so happy that I was able to locate the artists for them. They did their own jury, selected the artists,
Yeah.
and in return for that was a gratitude from them to say, well, we wouldn't have been able to do this without you, because their one very difficult criteria was the artist has to be not established, a non-established artist. And
Yeah.
it's like, where do you find an artist who's not established?
Mm.
It means that they're probably not on social media,
Mm.
or people doesn't talk about them, or they themselves, like when Janet was, is they themselves didn't even know that she was an artist. Okay.
Mm.
So they saw the challenge. I'm very happy that they acknowledged the challenge and they said, let's have one of Janet's artwork at the exhibition as well,
Hmm.
because that's our way to help you carry on her legacy.
Hmm.
And, without you, we probably would have a difficulty finding the artist.
Mm.
So the event took place in September on the 13th. It was a Saturday. I
Hmm.
was there for their opening. And I'm so happy that of the five artists that were there, three of them have had their paintings sold.
Hmm. Brilliant. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And all fantastic stuff. So, shaping hearts, is that a different thing again? Is that an extension of your entrepreneurship, or is it
No,
it's a different thing again?
Shaping Hearts was a project that is not linked to Janet Lee. So
Oh,
the people who went there were not our artists.
I
It
see.
was just a project that someone wanted, but they needed the reach to artists who fulfilled their criteria. In fact, in July and August, I wasn't actually very active in
Right.
terms of events
Okay.
because I was busy doing the artist search for Shaping Hearts, which is run by the Singapore government for one of their community.
Okay.
So
Right.
it's a Singapore government funded project for one of the communities in Singapore.
Right. Okay.
And then I had a corporate in Malaysia who wanted to support a group of artists who were neurodivergent
Right.
and who would benefit from being upskilled further in art. So I was also looking at a project for them.
Right.
Some of my artists qualified and some didn't. So I had to look for other artists for them to do the selection.
Yeah.
And we currently still have an ongoing project. That one belongs in a way to Janet because that particular project wanted to have artists with disabilities being part of their decor.
Hmm.
So Janet's artwork is going to go in just like anyone else. And if it's get chosen, it's a sale for us. But
Hmm.
the other two, we were really doing it to just have Janet out there as part of her legacy. So people know her story and there's people know where to find us.
Hmm. Would you describe Janet's artwork, especially the artwork that's behind you, um, as autobiographical? Was it a reflection of what she was experiencing as a person, or was it a means of kind of a getaway from what she was experiencing?
Okay. It took me a while to actually really notice that there was a major difference in her work of art because most of the time Janet's art are very bright, colorful.
Hmm.
Okay. It's just lovely. It
Hmm.
gives you that happy feel, you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
because she's generally a very happy-go-lucky girl. She's always very happy.
Hmm.
And I realized that among the collection, there were a few paintings which turns out to be pretty dark, like the one you see, over here.
Yeah.
So I started observing and said, when is it that she starts using such dark, deep colors?
Hmm.
Because most of the time she's on her light tones.
Hmm.
And that's when, in the last 2 years before she left us, I realized that every time when she's about to have a seizure,
Hmm.
or the next painting that she does shortly after her seizure, which could be like after 24 hours the next day, tends to be darker.
Right.
So I think there has a connection with Janet in that she's probably feeling very worked up when a seizure is coming.
Yeah.
And her brain is probably very muddled or very tired or very frustrated
Hmm.
post seizure.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because after that, you would see back all the bright colors coming out.
Yeah. So it does very much follow the what a lot of people call the arc, um,
Yes,
of the
yes.
seizure activity journey.
Mhm.
Um, Well, I have to say, Joyce, it's been phenomenally rewarding to talk to you and to hear that incredible story. And as I say, if I do get an opportunity to wear Janet's work um, in my workspace or even on an interview here, I would be absolutely thrilled to do so. I'll look forward very much to talking to you again in the future because I'm sure there's lots more we could probably go on and discuss. And
Yeah,
it has been a really incredible interview. And thank you very, very, very much for that. So, Joyce Moyne, thank you.
thank you very much, Guy, for the opportunity to also share Janet's story. And by the way, we are launching a documentary for Janet in November. In
And I
September
will,
last year, a friend of ours approached me, a friend of mine approached me, and we have Janet's story in a book.
right.
And in November, we will have people who have interacted with Janet
Mhm.
giving their views and perspective about who Janet was from a
Mhm.
medical, from a friend, and from a family perspective, launching in November.
That's fantastic. And I will certainly put a link to that on Purple Chorus for definite.
I'll forward you the link once it's officially launched.
Marvelous. Okay, thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.